70% of people over 50 know this feeling. Your legs feel heavy, as if filled with lead. Climbing to the second floor feels like an achievement. You push yourself up from a chair using the armrests. You sit on the edge of the bed in the morning and wonder, where did my energy go? And you think, well, it's just age. But here's a fact that changes everything. Your legs determine how long you will live, not your heart, not your blood pressure, your legs. A large-scale study followed thousands of people over 50 for 12 years. Those with weak leg muscles died twice as often, from falls, from fractures, from the body simply giving up after being bedridden for a few months. The researchers were stunned. They had expected the usual culprits: cholesterol, blood pressure, genetics. But time and again, the data pointed back to one thing: leg strength. Today, I will give you everything you need to reverse this. 5 exercises you can start lying in bed. 5 foods that feed your leg muscles. 2 tests you can do right now. A pressure point on your foot to improve circulation. An evening ritual that will make you wake up with light legs. And at the end, a 3-minute exercise that will make you feel your legs again by evening. I promise. If you read this through and start doing it, your legs will get a new life. But first, one mistake. A single mistake that 90% of people over 60 make. One. And it triggers the entire decline. We'll get to it. But first, let's look at where you stand right now. Let's check your legs. Right now. 30 seconds. Sit on a regular chair. No armrests. Cross your arms over your chest. Now stand up using only your legs. Sit back down. Stand again. How many times can you do it in 30 seconds? Age 50-60, fewer than 16. Muscles are weakening. Age 60-70, fewer than 13. Time to act. Over 70, fewer than 11. Serious warning, can't stand without hands. Not a warning. A siren, remember your result. Write it down somewhere. In 6 weeks, test again. You will see the difference. That number is not just a score. It is a window into your future. Scientists have shown that this simple chair test predicts survival rates better than most clinical assessments. Think about that. A kitchen chair tells your story more clearly than an expensive scan. What's happening inside your body? After 50, the body loses 1 to 2% of muscle mass per year. Sounds small, but 10 years, up to 20% loss. 20 years, up to 40%. By 70, nearly half is gone. And here's the trick. Your weight may stay the same. You step on the scale, still 75 core, and think everything is fine. But inside, muscle disappears. Fat replaces it. The space where strength used to live is now filled with something soft, passive, and useless. The body becomes weaker, more fragile, less stable. And yet, you feel nothing dramatic. No alarm goes off. No pain announces the change. It happens silently, invisibly, like a slow leak in a tire. You drive normally until one day, you simply cannot. This process has a medical name: sarcopenia. It affects over 30% of people over 60 and over 50% of people over 80. Yet most people have never heard the word. Most doctors don't bring it up until someone falls. And by then, the muscle has been disappearing for years. The good news, and this is important, is that muscle loss is not inevitable. It is not fate. It is not written in your DNA. It is almost entirely driven by behavior, which means it can be reversed. Your legs are a second heart. Here is something your doctor may never have told you. Your heart pumps blood down. It's powerful. It works tirelessly. But blood doesn't travel in one direction only. It must come back. And the return journey is uphill, fighting gravity every centimeter of the way. So, what pushes it back up? Your calf muscles. Every single step you take does this. Muscle contracts. Blood is squeezed upward, muscle relaxes, fresh blood fills in from below. This is called the venous muscle pump, and it is one of the most important systems in your body. Without it, your heart is working alone. Without it, blood pools in your legs. Without it, fluid builds in your ankles, oxygen delivery to the brain slows, and your heart labors harder to compensate for what the legs can no longer do. If the pump stops, up to 700 milliliters of blood stays in your legs. Oxygen doesn't reach the brain properly. The heart works empty, straining against a load. It was never designed to handle alone. This is not a metaphor. Your legs are literally a second heart. a secondary pump. And when that pump weakens, everything downstream suffers. 2 dangerous chains. Begin. When the leg pump fails, 2 things start happening. Quietly, slowly, dangerously. 1. Blood stagnation. The blood that should be moving sits still. Still blood is dangerous blood. It thickens, it clots. It pools in vessels that weren't designed to hold it. Swelling appears, first in the evenings, then all day. Varicose veins emerge. They are not just cosmetic. Clots form. Deep vein thrombosis is not dramatic. It often feels like nothing at all. Then, one clot travels to the lungs, and the report says, sudden cardiac event. But it started when the person stopped walking to the store. 2. Weak muscles and the fall. The second chain is just as deadly, just more visible. Weak muscles, poor balance, a fall waiting to happen. A fall, hip fracture. There are 150,000 hip fractures every year in people over 60. It sounds clinical, but behind each number is a person who was walking to the kitchen one morning, who slipped, who landed wrong, who was loaded into an ambulance. Every third person with a hip fracture dies within a year, not from the fracture, from what follows the fracture. 1 week in bed, charge half a year of muscle loss. Then the lungs grow still, pneumonia. The blood slows, clots, the mind dims, confusion, and a person who was cooking their own meals 3 months ago cannot lift themselves from a chair. This is the hidden danger. Not the dramatic heart attack, not the sudden collapse, just the slow drift from movement to stillness, from strength to fragility, disguised as taking it easy. But there is hope. Here is the truth that changes everything. Muscles can recover at any age. This is not wishful thinking. This is biology. In a landmark study, men and women in their mid-80s, living in nursing homes, were put through a 12-week resistance training program. They had never exercised. Some used walkers. Some could barely stand unassisted. After 12 weeks, their leg strength increased by an average of 170%. 170% in 12 weeks, in their 80s. One participant who had been unable to climb stairs was climbing them again by the end. Another who needed a walker was walking unassisted. Muscle doesn't ask your age. It doesn't care about your history. It asks only one thing. Do you use me? If you do, it responds. Every time, at every age, without exception. The biggest mistake. At my age, I need to be careful. It sounds wise. It sounds responsible. It is one of the most dangerous sentences a person can say. Knee hurts. Stop walking breathless on stairs. Take the elevator. Back aches. Lie down and rest. Every one of those decisions feels logical in the moment. Every one of them accelerates the decline. The body works in the opposite direction from machines. A machine that sits unused stays intact. A body that sits unused dismantles itself. The body is constantly asking, do I need this function? Is it being used? If the answer is no, the body removes the tissue that supports it. Muscle, bone density, neural connections, balance reflexes, all of it quietly dismantled to conserve energy for a body that has decided it no longer needs to move. Inactivity is not rest. Inactivity is deterioration at full speed. The downward spiral. Walk less, muscles weaken, walking gets harder. Harder, move even less. And it accelerates. 6 months. Can't walk to the store. 1 year. Can't walk outside without help. 2 years. Can't walk to the toilet alone. And everyone calls it aging. It is not aging. It is inactivity disguised as caution. The right approach. Don't push through real pain, but don't stop moving either. Pain is a signal, not a stop sign. It tells you where the boundary is, not that movement itself is forbidden. The task is to find what your body can handle today, and do that. Not more, not less, not nothing. Pain when walking, exercise lying down, pain standing, exercise sitting, pain sitting, exercise breathing, and foot movement. There is always a level at which you can work. There is always something you can do, and that something, done consistently, day after day, is enough to turn the tide. Because stopping completely is not safe. It is not cautious. It is the beginning of the end. The chapters ahead will give you everything you need to start from exactly where you are in the body you have today. Let's begin. Now that you understand what is happening inside your body, it's time to do something about it. This part is practical. Every exercise described here has been chosen for one reason. It works regardless of your starting point. Whether you are bedridden, recovering from injury, or simply stiff and out of condition, there is something here you can do today, not next week, today. Start wherever you are. Use what you have. Do something. 2 exercises in bed. Start today. These 2 exercises are the foundation. They can be done without getting up, without equipment, without assistance, and they are more powerful than most people realize. Exercise. Onde estamos? Ace 1. The foot pump. Lie on your back. You don't need a pillow. You don't need anything. Pull your toes toward you, as if trying to touch your shin. Hold for 2 by 3 seconds. Feel the stretch along the calf. Then point your toes away, like a ballerina reaching for the floor below. Hold again. Repeat 20 times. Slow and deliberate, not rushed. Then rotate your feet. 10 circles in one direction, 10 circles in the other. What is happening? Every contraction of the calf muscle squeezes the veins and pushes blood upward. The relaxation allows fresh blood to rush back in. You are manually operating the venous pump, the second heart, without standing up. 20 repetitions is roughly equivalent to walking 500 meters in terms of circulatory benefit. Do this every morning before you get out of bed, and every evening before sleep. Your body will feel different within days. Your legs will be lighter, your ankles less swollen. Your morning start will be easier. Exercise 2. Leg vibration. Lie on your back. Lift both legs into the air, as high as is comfortable. Shake them lightly, not forcefully. A gentle, continuous trembling motion. 30 seconds. Rest. Legs down. Repeat 3 times. Why does this work? 2 reasons. First, the elevation uses gravity to drain pooled fluid from the lower legs. The same principle as lying with legs up a wall. Second, the vibration stimulates tiny blood vessels, the capillaries, causing them to dilate and flush. Circulation improves, swelling reduces. Many people report that within 10 minutes of this exercise, their legs feel lighter and warmer. The heaviness lifts. This is not placebo. This is blood moving. 3. Standing exercises when you're ready. Once you are comfortable with the bed exercises, add these. Start with a chair nearby for balance if needed. Exercise 1. Toe raises. Stand behind a chair. Hold lightly for balance. Rise up onto your toes, slowly. Hold for 1 second at the top. Lower slowly. 20-30 repetitions. 3 times per day. This is the most direct calf exercise there is. It trains the venous pump directly. It strengthens the Achilles tendon. It improves balance by working the small, stabilizing muscles of the ankle. It also stimulates bone density in the heel and foot. Do not rush these. Speed removes the benefit. Slow, controlled movement is the point. Exercise 2. Chair. Sit at the edge of a chair, arms crossed over your chest. Stand up, slowly, using only your legs. Sit back down, slowly, don't drop. Lower yourself with control. Start with 5 repetitions. Build toward 15. Eventually, work toward 3 sets. This is the same movement as the test you did in part 1. The test is also the exercise. Every time you practice it, you are directly training the muscles that predict your survival and independence. When 15 becomes easy, use a lower surface, a coffee table, a step. The challenge should always be present, just never unbearable. Exercise 3. Heel steps. Walk around your room or a hallway, striking the ground heel first with each step. Deliberate, slightly harder than usual, 30-40 steps per leg. Why heel strike? Because impact through the heel travels up the leg bone and stimulates bone density formation. This is one of the reasons walking is better for bones than swimming. Your bones need mechanical stress to stay strong. Without it, they become porous and brittle. This exercise provides exactly that stimulus. The rule. You must not forget. Every hour, stand and rise on your toes 20 times. Set a timer, use your phone, put a sticky note on your refrigerator. Whatever it takes. Sitting for more than an hour at a time causes blood pooling in the legs, stiffening of the joints, and progressive muscular inactivity. 1 hour of sitting can be partially counteracted by 2 minutes of standing movement. You do not need a gym. You do not need a trainer. You need a timer and a habit. 5 foods that feed your leg, muscles. Exercise is only half the equation. Muscles are built from protein, energized by vitamins, and protected by minerals. Without the right nutritional foundation, the exercises you do will yield a fraction of their potential. Here is what your legs need to eat. 1. Cottage cheese, 150-200 grams daily. One of the most underrated foods for people over 50. A single serving contains 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. It is also rich in casein, a slow-digesting protein that feeds muscle tissue throughout the night while you sleep. Older muscles are less responsive to protein signals than young ones. This is called anabolic resistance. The solution is not less protein, it is more. People over 60 need significantly more protein per kilogram of body weight than younger adults. Most are eating far too little. Cottage cheese before bed is one of the simplest, most effective habits you can build. 2. Eggs. 2 to 3 daily eggs are among the most complete foods in existence. They contain all essential amino acids, plus leucine, the specific amino acid that triggers the muscle-building signal in older adults. They also contain choline, which supports nerve function, and healthy fats that aid vitamin absorption. 2 eggs at breakfast is not a luxury, it is medicine. 3. Fatty fish. 2 to 3 times per week, mackerel, herring, sardines. These are the kings of this category. They provide omega-3 fatty acids, which directly combat muscle inflammation. They provide vitamin D, the single most deficient vitamin in people over 50, and one of the most important for muscle energy production. Low vitamin D levels are strongly linked to muscle weakness, poor balance, and increased fall risk. If you live in a northern country, as many readers do, supplementing vitamin D in addition to eating fatty fish is strongly advisable through the winter months. 4. Pumpkin seeds, a small handful daily magnesium. That is the key word here. Magnesium deficiency is extraordinarily common in older adults, affecting an estimated 60–70% of people over 65. And one of its most visible symptoms is muscle cramps. Those nighttime leg cramps that jolt you awake are frequently a sign of low magnesium, not a sign of aging. Pumpkin seeds are one of the richest sources of magnesium available. A small handful daily can make a noticeable difference within 2 to 3 weeks. 5. Chicken liver, once per week. This is the most overlooked food on the list. It is also one of the most nutritionally dense things you can eat. Chicken liver is packed with B vitamins, particularly B12 and B6, which are essential for nerve health, energy metabolism, and red blood cell production. Nerve signals from the brain must travel cleanly to the leg muscles to coordinate movement and balance. Without adequate B vitamins, those signals degrade. The result is weakness that has nothing to do with the muscle itself, and everything to do with the wiring that controls it. What destroys everything, equally important, is knowing what to avoid. Processed meat, sausages, packaged deli cuts, ready meals promote systemic inflammation. Inflamed muscles do not rebuild efficiently. They remain sore, stiff, and slow to respond to exercise. Sugar, particularly in drinks and packaged snacks, blocks the hormonal signals needed for muscle repair. It also drives insulin resistance, which in turn reduces the body's ability to utilize protein for muscle growth. Alcohol, even moderate amounts, suppresses protein synthesis and disrupts sleep architecture, reducing the deep sleep phases during which muscle repair occurs. And the most destructive habit of all, prolonged sitting without movement. Everything you eat, every exercise you do, is diminished if you spend 6, 8, 10 hours per day completely still. The rule, move every hour. It is not a suggestion. A pressure point worth knowing. On the sole of your foot, roughly 1/3 of the way down from the toes, there is a point that has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. In Chinese medicine, it is called Kidney 1, Yong Quan. It is considered the lowest acupressure point on the body and one of the most grounding. Whether or not you subscribe to the traditional framework, stimulating this point with firm circular pressure for 1 minute per foot promotes local circulation, reduces the sensation of heaviness, and, for many people, produces a noticeable calming of the nervous system within minutes. Use your thumb, press firmly, circle slowly, do both feet every evening. It costs nothing, takes 2 minutes, and many people find it more effective than anything else in this guide for immediate relief of tired, heavy legs. Evening ritual, 10 minutes, that change your mornings. The quality of your morning begins with what you do the evening before. Step 1. Legs up the wall, 15 minutes, lie on your back. Swing your legs up and rest them against the wall. Hips as close to the wall as comfortable. Close your eyes. Gravity drains the day's accumulated fluid out of your lower legs. This is passive, effortless, and extraordinarily effective. Within 5 minutes, you will feel the heaviness lifting. Step 2. Foot pressure point. 1 minute per foot, as described above. Firm, slow circles on the Yongquan point. Step 3. Upward stroking of the legs. 2 minutes per leg. Using your palms, stroke from ankle to knee in long, firm, upward movements, always moving toward the heart. This manually assists lymphatic drainage and venous return. Do this sequence every evening for 1 week, then evaluate how you feel in the mornings. Most people report that within 3 days, they wake up with noticeably lighter legs. The swelling that used to greet them at the bedside is reduced. The first steps of the day feel less like wading through concrete. You now have the knowledge, you have the exercises, you have the food, you have the rituals. What remains is the most important element of all, consistency. Everything in this guide works, but only if it is done. Not once, not for 3 days when motivation is high, but daily, repeatedly, persistently. Even on the days when it feels unnecessary. Even on the days when you feel fine and wonder if any of this is really worth it. It is. Here is why. The 3-minute exercise that changes everything. Before we talk about timelines and commitment, you need to know about the single most important exercise in this entire guide. It is called the stork. Stand on one leg. That's it. Hold for 30 seconds. Switch legs. Repeat 3 rounds. This is not just a balance exercise. It is a diagnostic tool, a training modality, and a predictor of your future. A landmark study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed thousands of middle-aged and older adults and tested their ability to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. Those who could not do it had nearly double the risk of dying within the next decade compared to those who could. The link held even after researchers controlled for age, sex, BMI, and underlying health conditions. 10 seconds. One leg. A window into your cardiovascular health, your neural function, your muscular strength, and your proprioception, the body's awareness of its own position in space. What does the stork train? Balance, the ability to respond to sudden shifts in position. Strength, the small stabilizing muscles of the hip, knee, and ankle coordination. The neural pathways between brain and muscle circulation. The calf pump, which works with every micro-adjustment of balance. Stand near a counter or wall when you begin. Use it if you need to, but try to work toward holding without support. Start with 10 seconds if 30 is too much. Add time each week. In 6 weeks, you will stand differently. You will walk differently. The wobble will diminish. The confidence will return. And the next time you step off a curb, cross an icy patch, or reach up to a high shelf, your body will respond, rather than buckle. The second test. Earlier, you did the chair stand test. Here is the second test. Stand on one leg, no shoes, on a hard floor. Time how long you can hold it. Under 10 seconds, serious concern. Begin immediately 60 to 20 seconds. Below average, room to improve significantly, 20 to 30 seconds. Fair, continue building. 30 plus seconds. Good, maintain and challenge further. Write this number down alongside your chair stand score. Retest in 6 weeks. The progress will surprise you. When to see a doctor. This guide is not a substitute for medical advice. There are situations where movement alone is not the answer, and where something more serious is unfolding. See a doctor promptly if you experience one leg swelling significantly more than the other. This can indicate a deep vein thrombosis, blood clot, which is a medical emergency. Do not massage the leg. Do not exercise it. Go immediately. Pain combined with redness and warmth in the leg. Another possible clot indicator. Urgent. feet that are numb, tingling persistently, or that you cannot feel properly. This can indicate peripheral neuropathy, poor circulation, or diabetic nerve damage. Needs evaluation. Sudden change in walking ability. If your gait changes abruptly, if one foot drags, or if you develop sudden weakness on one side, seek care immediately. This can indicate a stroke, or TIA. Chest pain or breathlessness during mild activity. This is cardiovascular. Stop exercising and seek care. The exercises in this guide are appropriate for the vast majority of people over 50, but they are not appropriate for everyone, in every situation, on every day. Use your judgment. Listen to your body. And when something feels wrong, not just difficult, but wrong, stop and get it checked. Your week-by-week progress timeline. Here is what to expect when you begin. Week 1, the legs will feel lighter. This surprises most people because they expect progress to take months, but improved circulation is immediate. The venous pump begins working from the first foot pump exercise. The fluid that had been pooling for years starts moving within days. Sleep improves. Many people find that their legs are less restless at night. The cramping reduces. The nighttime waking diminishes. You will feel tired from the exercises. This is correct. It means you are doing something you weren't doing before. This tiredness is constructive. Week 2 to 3, cramps reduce significantly. If you have been eating pumpkin seeds and cottage cheese consistently, you may find the nighttime cramps nearly gone by the end of week 2. Stairs become easier, not dramatically, but noticeably. The second flight of stairs no longer requires a pause. You notice it without trying to notice it. Your standing time on one leg increases, from perhaps 8 seconds to 15. This is neural adaptation. Your brain is learning to coordinate the stabilizing muscles more efficiently. Week 4 to 6, muscle strength is now building in measurable ways. The chair stand test score improves. Walking pace naturally quickens. The stride becomes more confident. Balance is noticeably better. Family members comment that you seem steadier. You reach for things without hesitation. You step off curbs without bracing. Energy increases. This sounds counterintuitive. Exercise should tire you, not energize you. But improved circulation means better oxygen delivery throughout the body. The brain gets more oxygen, the kidneys function better, the heart works less hard for the same output. At 6 weeks, retest both measures. Compare to your starting numbers. The progress will be real, measurable, and motivating. The long view. 6 weeks is a beginning, not a destination. The research on muscle recovery in older adults is clear. The benefits accumulate over months and years. Those who maintain movement habits into their 70s and 80s retain a quality of life that those who stopped in their 60s never recover. The goal is not a number on a test. The goal is a life. Freedom to walk outside on a spring morning without planning the route around places you can sit. Freedom to travel, to board a plane, carry a bag, explore a new city on foot. Freedom to kneel on the floor and play with grandchildren, and then stand back up without ceremony. Freedom to live in your own home, make your own decisions, and move through your own days without asking for help. That freedom is not guaranteed by age. It is not taken away by age either. It is earned, maintained, and protected by the daily, unglamorous, profoundly important decision to move. The compounding effect of small habits. There is one final concept worth understanding before you close this guide. Small things done consistently compound. 20-foot pumps in the morning and evening. 20-toe raises 3 times a day. 1 handful of pumpkin seeds. Legs up the wall for 15 minutes each evening. 1 stork exercise with 3 rounds. Individually, each of these seems trivial. Together, across a week, they represent hours of accumulated muscular activity, improved circulation, better nutrition, and enhanced balance training. At the end of a month, that compounding is visible. At the end of 6 months, it is remarkable. At the end of a year, people who knew you before will notice something different about the way you move. They will ask what you've been doing, and the answer will be, nothing dramatic, just small things, every day without stopping. A final word. It doesn't take much. 10 minutes in bed, morning and evening. 3 minutes of balance work. Simple food, chosen with intention. Movement every hour. Consistency above all else. But that consistency, That refusal to stop, even on the days when it feels unnecessary, even on the days when it is tempting to rest, just this once, is everything. Your legs are not just transportation. They are your independence. They are your social life. They are your ability to show up for the people you love, in the places that matter, on the ordinary Tuesdays that make up a life. Weak legs are not inevitable. Heavy legs are not permanent. The decline is not a sentence. It is a direction, and directions can be changed. Start today. From the bed if that's where you are, from a chair, from the kitchen counter, from wherever you are with whatever you have. Just the first movement, and then the next. And then, in 6 weeks, sit in that chair, cross your arms over your chest, and stand up under your own power. And count. Your legs won't feel like weight. They'll feel like life again. One more thing before you go. Many people read something like this and feel a burst of motivation. They do the exercises that evening, they eat eggs the next morning, they feel good for a few days, and then life happens. A busy week, a grandchild visiting, a cold, and the habit quietly dissolves. This is normal, this is human, and it is the single biggest obstacle standing between you and everything described in this guide. So here is a suggestion. Do not try to remember everything. Do not try to do it all perfectly from day one. Instead, choose just 2 things from this guide, the simplest 2, and do only those for the first week. The foot pump in the morning, cottage cheese once a day. That's it, nothing more. Once those 2 things feel automatic, once you do them without thinking, the way you brush your teeth, add one more, then another. Build slowly, the way a building is constructed, 1 layer at a time, each one resting solidly on the last. A habit that lasts 6 months is worth 100 intense programs that last 6 days. The body responds to consistency, not perfection. You don't need to do everything right. You need to keep doing something. What others have found. People who have followed these principles often describe the same arc. The first week feels like very little is happening. The exercises seem too easy. The food changes seem minor. Nothing dramatic occurs. By the end of the second week, something shifts. The morning stiffness eases a little earlier. The stairs feel fractionally less daunting. A cramp that used to wake them doesn't come. By week 4, someone else notices. A spouse comments. A friend says, "You seem more like yourself." They don't always know what changed. They just sense that something has. And by week 6, the person who could barely stand from a chair without using their hands is doing it routinely, automatically, without thinking about it. That is what is waiting for you. Not a miracle, just yourself. The version of you that moves freely, stands steadily, and faces each day with legs that carry you forward rather than hold you back. That version is 6 weeks and a handful of daily habits away from where you are right now. Begin.